Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading Warbreaker for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read while discussing the experience along the way.
This is Warbreaker Breakdown, and today we discuss chapters 23 through 27.
Chapters 23 through 27! That's a tongue twister.
Quite. Man alive, we get some fun story beats that I am so appreciative of whenever they happen in stories like these.
Mm-hmm. I think this is my favorite batch of chapters so far.
I agree.
Yeah, I think my favorite bit of Light Song is in here, finally.
Yes, I agree as well.
Mm-hmm.
As per usual, every series chapter is great. I have no problems. She is wonderful, and she's my favorite part of the book, bar none, still.
Yeah, still, yeah. And Scoot.
Yep, he's enjoyable. Oh, the cringe. I nearly died of cringe in the Vivenna chapter.
Yeah, Vivenna doesn't come out the best, yeah. It's just more Vivenna at the moment. It's just more Vivenna, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm.
Shall we get right into it then?
Let's do it.
We carry on with Lightsong having found Blushweaver in a temporary garden, which is neat.
It's absurd. But neat too. Yes, it's beautiful.
No, absurd is the right word. You're right. They basically have to make it's like a cross between a portable garden and just a temporary garden where they have to plant everything as she's there to appreciate it.
So as she walks, they move pot plants around and whatever, just so that it's moving design. It's very cool that they're able to do that, and it's an art form and whatever, but it's like, yes, because she can't just go to a garden and enjoy the garden. It has to be a live garden.
Yeah, and it can't be good for the plants to move so much.
No. I would think of them and they're ragged and haggard by the end of that. They're like, please stop. Like, right? Plants are delicate things, man.
Yeah. Look, I've been doing some volunteer work for a Parks and Rec department, and recently we've been planting plants, and let me tell you, it's not fast work.
Oh, well, you wouldn't be part of the team then. This guy's team. Sorry, Dorkus.
Oh, gosh. But on the topic of the gardens being brought to the gods, we get an excellent couple of lines. Nothing was too good for the gods, except, of course, freedom.
The usual reminder. Well, this is what Lightsong thinks. I don't think all the other gods think that way. They're not they're very happy with where they're at, and they believe that they don't need more freedom. Whereas Lightsong, the way he views the world, definitely he will always have that reminder in the back of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, he correctly refers to it as a prison later on, I think, doesn't he?
Don't know about later on. It might be in a previous chapter. I don't remember.
Or a previous one. No, I thought it was during the conversation with Ciri.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Blushweaver immediately offers to sleep with Lightsong. And we get Lightsong's response, which
is a letter.
Is something I would do.
A letter.
Straight up, this is exactly the kind of thing I would do to be funny with someone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He hands her a letter. It's like, I know how these conversations go, so I wrote it down so we can skip it.
Yeah, that does sound like something you do.
She starts reading through it. One of the first things is Blushweaver makes a mildly suggestive advance, and she rightly says, I mean, I was not mildly suggestive, Lightsong.
She was very straightforward, and there was nothing mild about it.
Yeah. The letter goes on. in the letter, Lightsong apologizes for being so distant lately. And that was a strange turn of phrase because it spoke to me of some sort of genuine apology more so than a flippant apology. So I didn't really know what to make of that particular part of the letter. Did you sense genuineness in it or more pithiness?
No, I also sensed genuineness, and I was like, wow, that's sweet. But I didn't think that there was anything more than just, yeah, he's sorry. He's actually, that's it. That's all that's there. He's not really doing anything with it. But you could we could feel like, oh, he's just trying to manipulate her. But she's smart enough that him saying sorry, she knows that he could be manipulating her by doing that.
Sure. Blushweaver checks to ensure that this means what she thinks it means, which is to say that Lightsong is going to join her cause. Lightsong says yes, and then he clarifies he doesn't believe Ciri is involved in any sort of plot to take the throne, and he's joining Blushweaver to make sure that she doesn't crush Ciri or anyone else in her machinations.
Yay! We want him we want him to protect Ciri.
Yes, and I'm really glad he vocalized to Blushweaver, hey, I think she's an innocent in all of this. I'm glad Blushweaver heard it. Whether or not she'll do anything about it or care is another thing entirely, but I'm glad that Lightsong said it. Blushweaver indicates that it's time to get to work, and we get some more of Lightsong's characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like work. Wah, 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 wah. And it goes on for a bit longer, and I'm just, okay.
Yeah,
we're done.
It's not quite as aggressive as it was in the earlier chapters, but now it's like tainted by my distaste from the earlier chapters. It's not horrible by any means, but it's like, okay, I want to get to the point here.
Yeah, it goes on a bit too long for me. There are later instances where you feel like he's doing it for a purpose, so it feels much better, and it makes a lot more sense. So those chapters I'm talking about of the best Lightsong, that's when, like you pointed this out last time, when we liked it, it was because it had a purpose, other than look how flippant Lightsong is, ha ha ha. We've had that characterization. We don't need it that much. It's irritating. But I guess he wants to irritate us with this character.
True. 100%. And I suppose the individual's mileage may vary, but when it feels like there's a purpose, it is much more enjoyable. When it feels like it's padding, it's less enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get the line on the topic of fertilizer. I was thinking that work is like fertilizer in that I'm glad it exists. I just don't ever want to get stuck in it. And I was transported away from Warbreaker, across the Cosmere, all the way to Way of Kings World, where Cabsol compared manners to fertilizer.
Jeez, I did not get transported at all. I was just like, shut up, Lightsong. That's where I was. I was right there and with Lightsong thinking, shut up.
Interesting. But do you remember the Cabsol conversation?
No, I don't, but I can appreciate that he did speak. He would have made that comparison, fertilizer and manners.
It was something like, manners are like fertilizer. Very useful, but sprinkle it when sprinkled appropriately. But if you use too much, things just start to stink. And then Shallan is like, hadn't Ardent really just spoken of manure?
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, I had an Ardent. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
But only because you made me remember it.
Yeah. Yay. I remember things sometimes.
You remember them a lot.
So then Blushweaver reveals that Mercy Star was attacked the previous night.
And that's fun. This is going to be fun. Mercy Star got attacked last night. It's like, okay. You're here for drama.
Yeah. Then we fast forward to the three of them, Mercy Star, Blushweaver, and Lightsong, lounging, and Mercy Star is lamenting the attack on her palace. Lightsong is comparing the women's appearances, whereas Blushweaver is lithe, Mercy Star is not
Voluptuous.
Voluptuous is the word. He also thinks of Mercy Star as garish. And I don't necessarily think it's just Lightsong's opinion here, but we do, I think, get Mercy Star's characteristic as being somewhat vapid, which is on point when you consider the other three gods from the ball game, yeah?
Yeah. Intelligent gods are few and far between.
So it would seem. Orange and gold are garish colors.
Yeah, those are hers. Yeah. What is her? What is she the goddess of? Honesty?
No, not honesty.
No?
Like it wasn't it kindness, I think.
Yeah, mercy. Yeah.
She's the goddess of kindness. Blushweaver sympathizes with Mercy Star. To me, it comes off as a bit fake.
Oh, it's
yeah. But Mercy Star is being very
nice.
Dramatic. No, it's not.
Yes, Mercy Star is being very dramatic and vapid, and you get that. But then on the other hand, having Blushweaver, lean into that, knowing that she doesn't really care, and she's just said, "This is going to be fun." It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like her.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I remember my comment in the last episode where it's like, man, if she brings in kind guards, she must herself be very kind. And I guess there isn't any rule that dictates a vapid person can't be kind. So let's keep that in mind. But I don't know, kindness, for me at least, kindness is a likable trait, but vapidness is not. So it's this, it lives in this strange space for me.
Yeah, kind, vapid person, interesting. Why is you would want to know, okay, how is this vapid person kind? Like, why are they being kind? Is it because they're into themselves and they want the glory of being nice to people?
Popular.
So you would want to know, what's
popular.
Exactly, that. Is that what she was like, actually, that she was kind just because it made her popular?
I was referencing Wicked there, right? Yeah?
Yeah, I've heard that song.
Okay.
But I didn't know where it was from. I'm not a musical person. The only musical that is worth it is Lion King. I love music. Don't get me wrong. I went to Hans Zimmer just to listen to Hans Zimmer's performance or whatever, but not a musical as in musical productions with people singing in Wicked type. Anyway.
But you were saying?
No, I was just saying, look, she is. We're calling her vapid, but maybe it's just she's just not that smart, and you don't have to be that smart to be kind. You don't need intelligence to be kind.
Sure.
Your intelligence would make you kind in better ways, I would suppose. But yeah, we're assuming that everybody is like the thing that they're the god of, but it doesn't seem necessary. It doesn't seem like, yeah, exactly. Like, I have said that Blushweaver is honest in a way because she's
not subtle.
So, yeah, she's not subtle and whatever. And she's just, it's honest to be manipulative in a way.
She's honest about who she is.
Like, yes, exactly. And who she is dishonest.
Yeah. Mercy Star claims not to feel safe anymore, and she doesn't understand how the guards didn't prevent this kind of thing. And it kind of gives off Karen energy a little bit.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Yeah. Poor goddess. Hi everyone, Editor Dorkus here with a note. As I'm editing through this, it feels like I'm going very hard on Mercy Star, and I definitely don't want to discount the shallow elements that I think Sanderson is intentionally putting in to give us this impression of the gods as being very frivolous, I guess, but I also feel like I could have, should have, and am now calling attention to she was the victim of a break-in, and that is a scary thing. It's a very violating thing. So there is some degree of empathy here for that. It just seems to me that as Kitty and I were going through it, that was sort of minimized to focus on the shallow elements of her character. So, stated. Thank you. Back to the episode. Blushweaver not so subtly suggests the thief was almost certainly Idrian because the break-in must have been done by someone with no respect for the gods.
Yeah, very well done. So subtle, but Mercy Star's like, yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mercy Star didn't know that Ciri was the youngest daughter and that there was that whole switcheroo. I thought that was like massive news. I thought that was like a big deal that even someone like Mercy Star would have heard. In fact, in my note, I wrote...
She just doesn't pay attention. That's what it telegraphed to me, is that everybody else knows that. Because it is. It's news. It's big news. Everybody's talking about it, gossip. But they might have even been talking about it in front of her, but she's just so into herself and into whatever she's doing that she wouldn't notice. I think that's what it's trying to tell us.
Sure. At my core, I do still have this feeling of how could she not know, but it's fine. It's, low on the totem pole of issues.
It could be one of, what's her name? Because this is her palace and we go into... what's discovered there and all of that. It could be Sanderson's favorite thing of making someone look vapid, but meantime she's very sly. So Mercy Star might be doing that to act as if she is ignorant.
I would very much like that.
I didn't know. Yeah.
She's manipulating Blushweaver. Ooh, I do like this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsong pulls Blushweaver aside to confer privately, and as she does so, you know that Lightsong's going to be all like, what are you doing? This is not what I agreed to, and I was so looking forward to Lightsong telling her off, like, no, don't lie. We can prepare, but don't lie. And that's not exactly what happens, and Blushweaver claims to be preparing in case of war, and Lightsong feels that there's wisdom in her arguments, but calls her out on the topic of knowing whether or not an Idrian was the perpetrator. And the impression I get is that Lightsong seems surprised by Blushweaver doing what it is she's doing. And I'm thinking, are you really, though? Are you?
Should you be? Yeah. This is what she's about. This is what she's like. We don't know her as well as you do, character in book. And we expect this from her. But I guess he thought his involvement would mean that she doesn't act in ways that he disapproves of. Just suddenly is, oh, okay. I guess that's not nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad he does bring her aside to confront her, though. It's not just him going, that's not cool in his mind. He actually does say it to her. Like, why are you implying that?
Yeah.
The Idrians did this. It's really silly.
Yeah. Regardless of whether or not it was an attack by an Idrian, Blushweaver is confident that an attack happening now is not a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, on my first read-through, I wrote the note, is it though? And on hindsight and reread, I can only ask, why did I write that? Because we know it wasn't an Idrian necessarily, but I think you're right that it's logical to consider it not to be a coincidence at this time.
Well, we actually get reasoning for that later on by Lightsong. Yeah.
Yeah. So we learn that Mercy Star holds a lifeless command. And before I finish this beat, I wrote in my notes, did Vasher know this? He didn't consider it at all in his evaluation. He was looking for someone low enough to be attackable, but high enough to hold some sway. He had no thoughts of lifeless commands. And then I wrote...
True.
Yeah, well, okay, yes.
No, what did you write? Go next. What did you write?
And then I wrote, why give a lifeless command to a vapid character? to impede action, to feign control. We know that there are priestly shenanigans afoot. But then I also think to myself, particularly later on, when we learn she's the goddess of kindness, maybe it's just good sense to let a kind person have lifeless commands, because then they will hopefully commit more wisely than someone else.
That would be a steadying force. But again, we're acting as if people stand for the things that they are goddess and gods of. We don't really, we haven't gotten that much evidence of it. It seems very wishy-washy. Like, okay, I guess Lightsong is brave in some ways. And yes, Blushweaver is honest. I'm repeating myself, but just let's just keep that in mind, that sure, in principle, we would want the kindness goddess, but these people aren't exactly the paragons that they are supposed to be. But it's also possible that her priests are the ones that have made it so. They've politicked in a certain way so that their goddess gets the power. What's the name? The power codes, essentially. So yeah, the priest shenanigans more than her, unless she is the undercover smarty.
Right. And then back to the Vasher moment. Did you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. We're both more or less in agreement then that Vasher was not considering lifeless commands when he picked. Okay.
Yeah.
Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsong thinks Blushweaver's arguments are reasonably strong. Do you agree, Kitty?
Reasonably strong to prepare? I don't know. It seems like preparing is something that accelerates them towards war. It's preparing is a move. It's not defensive, actually. It seems like offensive.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think it's
a little bit of a disagreement with her, but I guess, and also I don't believe her. I don't believe that she's just preparing for war. It's just an excuse.
That I agree with. Like, it is always good to be prepared, but why you're preparing and what you're preparing for, you don't want to set things in motion that you don't intend to.
Yeah, and it seems like she wants to set them in motion, and that's why she's talking about it being, it's just prep, sure. But she knows that prepping will get the other side, get their back up. So yeah, it's going to set things in motion. And I think that's what she wants anyway. But
yeah,
Blush, I think Lightsong is trying to believe the best about her, I suppose, for some reason. Yeah.
Agreed. And then Blushweaver, in a very excellent way, weaves the two of them back into the conversation, away from the awkwardness of having pulled Blushweaver aside earlier, Lightsong did, and says Blushweaver has decided to trust Mercy Star with some of their plans. It's at this point I wonder how many people Blushweaver already has in tow, because from earlier chapters I was under the impression she must have had some gods already lined up, and that she'd been politicking for a while, but this whole conversation made it feel as if she really only had Lightsong.
Yeah, maybe she was... No, I think she's probably had feelers in with everyone else, and Lightsong... Maybe she was waiting on Lightsong. I don't know. But she also... doesn't matter. Like, maybe she wasn't considering Mercy Star until this attack thing. It's an opportunity, and Mercy Star is supposedly a lower god, a goddess, or less influential, but she still needs to pick her up. So it's before she activates, I think.
Gotcha.
But yeah, let's see if it is just her and Lightsong.
Sure. After Blushweaver suggests forming a coalition to prepare for war, Mercy Star asks Lightsong if he agrees with Blushweaver, and while Lightsong resents being asked, he gives a half-hearted yes. You know, it's also good to prepare for dinner.
Yeah, the usual.
Yep. Mercy Star agrees to join them in their planning and precautions. Lightsong and Blushweaver leave. Blushweaver likes people who are easy to manipulate. Blushweaver wonders why someone like Mercy Star got lifeless commands when she didn't. We've had that discussion already. I don't think we need to redo it. Although I did write a joke to myself in the margin. It was probably just some mundane reason. No, I think what we discussed earlier is closer to accurate than mundanity. As they chat, Lightsong is distracted, and he wonders about the break-in, but Blushweaver thinks it's unimportant. Lightsong is shocked to hear that one of the guards was killed, and Lightsong turns back while Blushweaver leaves. So, there are a couple of things with this whole conversation that I find a bit interesting, which is, one, Blushweaver, how could you possibly not be curious? Even if you yourself don't believe the excuses that you gave to Mercy Star about it being war-related, it should still concern you, I imagine, at least to some degree.
Yeah, it should.
And the whole pay attention to me Lightsong kind of vibe I get from her in this conversation strikes me as really childish in a way that I haven't gotten from her before now.
Yeah, but she's just done her scheming and now she wants lighthearted attention from the man and she's not getting what she wants so that's not cool. That's what I get, is that she's satisfied with the day's work and now she wants to have some fun. And
right.
Lightsong is not done.
Sure. All the same, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting element of her character.
Yeah.
Lightsong is very interested, excited when he hears that someone was killed. We get the line, "It wasn't his place to be involved in criminal disturbances." This connects to a line in a later chapter where he thinks up the phrase, "the case."
Mm-hmm.
Even before I got to that line, I saw criminal disturbances, and I wrote, maybe he was a PI?
Yeah. That's what I'm getting, some sort of detective thing.
Mm-hmm.
From here, from what we get with his fascination with crime, it's like Sherlock and what's the doctor's name?
Watson, yeah.
Sherlock and Watson. Yeah.
Lightsong turns back and asks Mercy Star how the guard was killed. She says the two at the door were knocked out. The intruder was discovered by 4 servants. They fought. 1 was knocked out. 1 was killed. 2 escaped. So 1 was killed is our first indication that something changed from where we last left off, right?
What do you mean? Like, I thought we did kill 1. I thought we knew that person was killed.
No, I don't think we did beforehand.
Ooh, okay. Oopsie. I thought they died.
Oh, no.
The whole time I was like, oh, okay, yeah, 1 died. The one with one that was attacked with the sword, yeah.
No, I knew they weren't. But it's okay. Don't feel bad, Kitty, because I had my own really dumb moment with this storyline, in that I thought they somehow added in a 5th person and that they changed the story so that there were 5 in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But I was being dumb. I don't think any of that actually happened.
It's a meow story. I need to go and reread the whole thing.
Sure. No, it's actually a Mandela effect thing. I know what I read, damn it. It said 4 here, but when he starts talking to the priests, they say 5. No, I will get to the specific passage.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsong asks to speak with the guards. He takes Scoot with him, leaving the other priests behind, and goes to speak with the guards. I thought it was funny. The priests all cluster like a group of children abandoned by their parents. I laughed out loud.
Yeah. They really do seem that way. I love that description.
Yeah. When Lightsong says something is wrong, Scoot gives him a strange look. I wrote, what is this strange look? I think now that Lightsong was a private eye. So is it that Scoot recognizes his old friend in this excitement? Or is it that he, as a priest... Absolutely. Go on.
That's how I saw it. That he's noticing that, hey, this part of my friend is back.
Yeah.
And that is a difficult thing to hold back and not say it's you, or like something like that. Like, so that's the strange look where it's just like, is this for real?
Right.
But you were saying as a priest, that's also possible, that just as a priest he knows what this was like, and now he knows that what Lightsong was like, what his profession was, and now he's recognizing it in him. That's possible too, but I want it to be the friendship one.
I wrote, as a priest, is worried Lightsong will figure something out that he shouldn't. Probably the first, since he comments that it's uncharacteristic, but it does then beg the question, what does Scoot know? So what does, because the whole time, Lightsong is fairly open with Scoot, except about one specific thing that he doesn't mention. But I keep fearing that he shouldn't trust Scoot because he's a priest and the priests are lying. But Lightsong never has that thought. And it could be very interesting to see Scoot have a crisis of conscience in whether or not he's going to support Lightsong or support the priest faction.
Yeah. Yeah. I would expect him to. He's probably still got loyalties to the priest faction, but this might make him change.
So as they're going to where they're going, Lightsong is thinking about how this excitement is familiar, which cements my he was a PI theory.
Yeah.
Workers are replacing the floor at the scene of the attack. Lightsong affirms that the intruder then fought with 4 servants. They do not deny the number. Again, that note is because of my confusion, which I will explain the reason for later. In their recounting, the priests account for 4 servants, rope man, attacker, and 2 runners.
Yeah.
After dealing with the lifeless squirrel, they came back to find the man stabbed with a dueling blade. I wrote, is the sword a dueling blade? Did Vasher have a dueling blade? I don't think he did. And there was no mention stabbing. There was no stabbing, and there was no mention of blackness, which we know from other chapters, is what his sword does.
Yeah, which should have alerted me, but I think it's just because of when I was reading this that I just didn't pick it up. That should have at least made me realize, wait, Chintu, you've missed that there was no killing before. So I was completely out of it when it came to this part of it.
Sure. And then I think I wrote this note later on, but I'll say it here now as well. Vasher had said to the sword, if there isn't an escape route and we have to come back this way, we're going to have to prepare for a lot of killing. And 1 death is not a lot on the metric scale, I think. So
yeah, he went straight into the trapdoor area, and by the time they finished with the squirrel, I don't know if he would be done in the trapdoor area. You know what I'm saying? I think he would probably still be in there.
Precisely. Unless there was an alternative exit out. Lightsong finds a gray patch, notes the intruder was an awakener, and determines that the intruder was no Idrian. Very good. And hopefully if Blushweaver tries pulling that Idrian stuff again, he'll put it down. Yeah,
you just point that out, and it's a big enough thing. Yes, and we've also got, I think, from the Vivenna things, is that chapters, I don't think the Idrians, while they will take breath, I don't think they'll be awakeners. They don't do awakening.
Correct. On the topic of the squirrel, a priest notes that it had ichor alcohol. On my first read through, I didn't understand. I wrote a question mark. But as I was writing my notes later on, I think I concluded that it is just a preservative so that the body wouldn't rot for later use.
Yeah. And they said it was a good preservation, like a good, there are ways and means that's done. And it was well done.
Yeah, done by someone who knows what they are doing. When asked what the intruder might have been after, the priests say they don't know. I wrote in all caps, liar!
And so did Lightsong also, is just like,
Yep. He's got his instincts working for him.
Yeah.
A priest claims they saw the man running out the way he had come, and I wrote to myself, not if there was an escape in the tunnel, but in consideration of the later revelation, this could well be true. Vasher did expect killing if he had to fight his way back out again, but that seemed more mass amounts, not one already tied up. We've already had this discussion.
Yeah.
Lightsong does affirmatively realize the priests are lying to him. Good.
Yeah, good. He does that several times. The priests are lying, and it's actually a great curiosity that he has. He's like, wow, they're lying to me. That's interesting.
Yep. What else are they lying about?
Yeah. What else are they lying about? Think about that.
Mm-hmm. He tells Scoot that the criminal was not Idrian. I wrote, "Be careful, Lightsong. Don't trust the priests." Lightsong makes several deductions regarding why it wasn't a common thief. He notes the use of the servants' hallway where there wouldn't be any riches. Larmar seems unsettled. Again, I'm wondering, what is the cause? What is the specific cause of the unsettled? But Lightsong is exhilarated and he contemplates the mystery for the rest of the day.
Good times.
Yep. That brings us to 24. Ciri bursts into a chaotic room of scribes and priests. I was already curious what she's up to, because you could tell right away it's shenanigans.
Yeah, I was hoping she's after the records of some things, but I was like, this is futile.
Yeah. Ciri feels conspiratorial over her new secret dynamic between herself and Suzebron, which is great. She feels a thrill.
That's cute. Not the thrill, but a thrill, yeah.
Correct. Bluefinger's warning still worries her despite her new status quo, which is good. She's cognizant of the danger. She wonders why the bedchamber is located outside the main body of the palace. I think this will be important.
Yes.
But I had a bit of trouble visualizing or conceptualizing the specific layout, so I couldn't quite make any deep deductions on that.
Yeah, it's going to be important. Just keep it in mind.
Yeah. Ciri loudly proclaims that she wants books. Humorous.
Yeah, but she can't have any of those. This whole huge library she can't take part in. Okay.
Yep. A priest offers to have storybooks brought in, but Ciri rejects the idea, insisting on the books in the palace. And Trelladis arrives telling her no. And at this point, I'm like,
I hate him.
I hate him so much too. But I'm like, are we finally going to get some power flexing? Are we finally going to get Ciri saying, I am the queen and I want this? I was very excited. And sure enough, Ciri says, you cannot refuse me. And then Trelladis says, oh, yes, he can.
Yeah. That's what got me. I was like, oh, he's so freaking rude and horrible. And he enjoys saying that, no, you don't have any power here. Oof.
Yep. Trelladis claims the God King insists the books stay there, but Ciri knows he's lying. She considers the convenience of having a god who can't speak.
Yep. Because now we have that revelation. You can start seeing exactly how it works. Oh, the priest is the voice of the god, but there's no way how is he communicating in any way with them? It's just all so horrible and false, and I wish that Ciri could just be like, he's got no tongue!
Right?
They would just be like, no, she's crazy. Nobody needs to pay attention to her.
Yep. What is this heresy? Trelladis claims she can stay there and read them, but Ciri does not find the idea appealing. The priests would likely find all manner of ways to distract her.
I was like, why not try? At least. And she's like, no, it's fine. She backs off.
Yeah. She finds herself embarrassed by the idea that the priests would be there to listen to her sound out words and make a fool of herself. And I wrote to myself, can she not read silently? Is that not a thing?
Yeah. What is she not that good at reading? Is that what you're telling me? But also, then whisper. And who gives a crap if you're sounding out letters, if you're going to get the truth?
Yeah. So that was a strange passage. And then Ciri leaves. So 1-0 Trelladis. Later on, Suzebron claims he told her so that the priests wouldn't let her take the books. And immediately I'm very excited that the two are going to be able to start communicating.
Yeah.
He cautions her that she shouldn't anger the priests, and his spelling is awful. I wrote LOL. I didn't actually
cute.
laugh out loud, but I thought it was cute. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It makes you just go, you know what? Why don't we just spell this way? Just the way things sound. imagination and things like just shun instead of TION. Yeah, all the English quirks.
Ciri smuggled in charcoal and a cup to the bedchamber, and the cup is for listening for listeners, which I wrote a great big thank you. But as we learn, the priests do leave after their loud business is done, and I have to wonder why they don't leave at least one person. Now, fortunately, Ciri also has that thought later on, so that kinda makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ciri is frustrated with the priests, Susebron characterizes them as good men who work hard for the kingdom. I wrote out, no! Why?
He knows nothing else.
Sure. On the topic of having his tongue cut out, Susebron argues it was necessary because he's too powerful. I think, okay, I guess his heightening could be very powerful, but no, it's other kinds of power.
Yes, exactly. He can't be an actual conscious being with agency. That's why his tongue is gone. But he thinks his power is unsafe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ciri warns him that they're not looking out for his best interest, and I cheered. I pumped my fist. Is that the phrase?
Good. Yeah.
Cool. Susebron rejects the idea, affirming that they are good men, and Ciri calls out the contradiction of him having to hide that he's learning to read from them, which is wise, and that...
Yes, good point, Ciri. Yes.
Yep. It kind of sinks in here.
Mm-hmm.
Ciri thinks that Susebron is both humble and like a child. So it seems we weren't too terribly far off with our suppositions that he might be childlike. That's good.
Yeah, but then we did say to ourselves, like, it's not so much that he's a child intelligence-wise, it's just he has not been socialized. That's the thing.
Right. Ciri makes a sarcastic comment, but Susebron doesn't even know what sarcasm is, and she tries to teach him the concept.
Mm-hmm.
As she's doing that, she also has to explain the concept of mockery. So this is one of my favorite things in fiction. Ciri has to walk a very, very fine, careful line here with Susebron in introducing to him these ideas that the world is a lot more gray than he's been led to believe. Because, like we have discussed over in Hero of Ages, with Spook not being able to properly control his pewter, Susebron is going to need to approach gray situations from a much more cautious place of being, lest he do some very tyrannical things, thinking it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's just giving principles, even just saying, okay, it is good to do this and it is bad to do that. Those can actually lead to quite horrible consequences because of how the world variables change all over the place and everything has to be on a case-by-case basis. Otherwise, he could go too far.
Yeah. So there is... I love this dangerous line.
Mm-hmm.
Susebron responds with his own attempt at a sarcastic quip, writing that Ciri is very normal.
It took me a second to figure that one out. I was like, what? Oh, he's trying to be sarcastic. Okay. You are very normal.
Yeah, it's because it's cute, because it's not so perfect cute sarcasm, but you can so tell what he's going for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And he asks if it was good sarcasm, and Ciri responds with, more sarcasm. Top tier Sanderson here.
Yeah.
These two may, unironically so far, be some of my favorite characters of his because of these exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
Ciri reflects on Susebron's earnestness and innocence. Susebron thinks Ciri is strange because she doesn't treat him like everyone else. I laughed. No one talks to him, and the priests haven't given him instruction in years.
Wow. So it's like he hasn't even done... I would have thought that they just instruct him all the time. That they just, go in here, do this. Like when it came to the bride thing, just the wedding thing.
You would think they would have told him how. It's so weird.
not even how, just to do it. So go in, have a kid. So like, I guess he doesn't count that as instruction because I mean, he knows that that's what's he's got to do somehow. But yeah, they haven't instructed him in years. Okay, so he hasn't had agency or not agency. He hasn't done anything decisive in years.
Yeah, it's very suspicious.
Well, considering what we learn later on, or what Ciri learns later on as well, it makes me so scared and so suspicious.
Yep, priestly coup.
Mm-hmm.
Ciri does not offend Susebron, who doesn't understand why he'd be offended. Ciri explains it is because of his power, not the breath, but his role as God King, which, again, we had that discussion, but I love that you have to explain this very carefully to him element, lest he come to incorrect but good-intentioned conclusions.
Yes, but innocent in conclusions. I think that might happen at some point, but I hope it's not huge issues.
Yeah. Susebron doesn't understand why someone would think he'd kill a good person. Ciri says that no one knows the God King. And I was thinking this could open a pathway to the God King flexing and wanting to go out of the palace.
But he can't do anything, right? He can't say anything.
Yep.
How does he request going out or request? How does he even order people to go out that he wants to go out? He's just point.
He could just do it. Just go.
And
everyone will follow.
I guess just show them that's what they would have to actually show the other guards, show everyone them moving him back inside bodily and and then the rest of the court would be like, wait, why isn't he doing something about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you could do at some point.
Yeah, I'd like it if he gets fed up or angry. It's also too soon to discuss
Obviously,
it, I think, but I would like to see Ciri ask him his opinion on war with Idris.
Yeah, if he knows even anything about them, but yeah.
Yeah. Susebron thought that all people did what they were told, and no.
Most of them don't even. But you know what? I think that's cute because it's the way he's lived. That is. He thought everyone does what they're told. Even he does, right? He does what he's told.
Yeah.
And not that he can tell anyone anything, but everyone is being ordered around in front of him and they all do what they're supposed to. And if that's all you've known, yeah, you'll think, oh, that's just how the world works.
Yep. I lament that I'll never get around to making my Romance of the Three Kingdoms series on this channel, but I do so appreciate the story.
Why never, Dorkus?
One day, maybe.
Yes.
But part of what led to the fall of the Han Dynasty was this court culture. The emperor had no clue at all that out in China there was this famine, that the Yellow Turbans were wanting to rebel, that any number of things were happening because the court eunuchs had kept him away from everything or fed him biased information as they sought to control everything. I see a lot of Three Kingdoms in this. It's really neat.
That's why you have to do it, so you can show the similarities.
Perhaps. When Ciri asks if the priests taught him that people do what they are told, he tells about how his book of children's stories were read to him by his mother. His only possession, by the way, the book, Ciri thinks. The lessons in the stories are about obedience, treating people well, don't lie, don't go into the jungle alone. I asterisked that one. Don't cheat, don't hurt others.
And she read these stories before she was taken away. His mother was taken away from him.
Yeah, it's not right. Very sad.
Yeah.
And Ciri feels as if her understanding of Susebron has increased. Ciri asks if the stories are why he didn't take her on their first night, and we learn that Susebron doesn't know how to do the deed.
I suspected this, but he doesn't even know that there is a deed.
Yeah, he's just like in the stories, a man and a woman spend the night together, and we did, but there's no baby now.
I don't know, it's not working. We're doing something wrong. It's so cute.
It really is. I mean, one would have, there are some issues here. Like one would have thought that the priests would tell him. Two, did he not go through puberty? I mean, he does say he found her appealing when she was naked, but was there no experimentation phase?
I guess I don't know. He's just been so sheltered, and he probably hasn't seen any of this happen either. So yeah, he hasn't been taught. Maybe they assumed that this is what he would just know. They're assuming it. They assume he would just naturally go to it. But the thing is, he's so obedient. Even if he found her appealing, he's not going to just follow his whims. So maybe they just thought, yeah, he'll figure it out. Like most people figure that stuff out. Nobody tells you exactly how stuff works. I don't know. I don't remember being told.
Sure. It does also recontextualize the first night that Ciri put on her act, because Susebron's just looking at that like, what? Why? What?
Maybe this is how the baby is made. Yeah. He's like, this is what we weren't doing right. Okay, cool. Okay. And maybe he goes and stands and looks at her to see if there's a baby.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, as we're learning more about how innocent Susebron is, it makes me wonder why the priests are so insistent on a god king with the royal blood, because it seems like Susebron is pretty damn well obedient. Do you really want to risk a new personality?
Yeah. But then again, they have control. That maybe they don't believe that any personality is a match for them.
That's true. Susebron reveals that he was scared of Ciri on their first night together. That was cute.
Oh, just cute. Just this whole thing has been very adorable.
Yeah. He's never gotten any concubines or anything like that. And Ciri's going to teach him about this another day, which I think is why.
Yeah, it's good. We don't need her to. He's learned enough lately.
Yeah. Now, look, I think Ciri can explain that both people have to consent. And I think he would follow that. But I also feel like if he did know how to have a child, he would be more proactive in trying to make that happen because the priests have told him to, which will put Ciri in a weird position.
Yeah.
Ciri reveals they're scared of him having a child, that Bluefingers thinks that would be a danger to them. And I wrote, good, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, exactly. We need him to start not trusting the priests. They're all he's known, I understand, but now it's time to wake up.
Agreed.
And Ciri's waking him up. Yeah.
They ponder the mystery, wondering how the previous god kings died. Susebron's father died when he was a child. Susebron was. Susebron's father used his breath to cure a disease. He was told that the god kings can cure many people, not just one. I wrote, ooh, but ultimately that ends up becoming a lie later on. And after sitting with that for a little bit, I was like, how can he do that if he doesn't have a tongue? Anyway.
Yeah, how does he give up his breath?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a tongue, because you're supposed to be able to give it up. You have to command it to give it up.
Yeah. Ciri believes the threat will come after there is an heir, and that means the threat is from the priests, which I fist pumped again.
Yes, Ciri.
Yes, smart Ciri. Could Vivenna do any of this? I doubt it. She'd be proselytizing to Susebron.
Yes, she'd be oh gosh, she would. Yeah. It would be a whole crusade, or not a crusade. It would be a whole mission for her.
Yeah.
And she would still be She would have explained the whole sex thing, because she would be like, no, we must have an heir.
Yep, very much so. She's got to do her duty. And Ciri notes that they'll have to find a solution sooner rather than later. End chapter.
Yep. End chapter.
That brings us to 25. We get Vivenna walking through the Tetelir streets, feeling everyone recognizes her. So she's a bit self-conscious. She's wearing an outfit that comes close to being acceptable in her opinion. Rather, it's the closest they could find to being acceptable.
Because it's high-necked and long-sleeved
Yep.
and goes down to her ankles.
I think so. It's tubular, isn't it? It's like a long tube. But she does understand why women would wear immodest clothing in such climates. So she's learning about other cultures and why other cultures are as they are. Slow process, but there. She's getting used to the city. The mercenaries
also, hold on.
Yeah.
The dress is red.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Her dress is red. Think of that. Yeah.
The mercenaries want to take her on their current venture so they don't have to split up. And Denth, I think, gives the line, "Personally, I'd like to have you along where I can keep an eye on you." And I wrote to myself, is that fair logic? It seems more likely to put her in danger than not.
Yeah, true. But maybe she learns more. Maybe he wants her to learn how things work. Maybe that's why he does it. But also, yeah, listen, considering how fast he is, if she is closer to him, sure, it puts her in danger, but he can deal with that danger. If she's in danger by herself, there's less of a chance that he can save her.
True.
So I get it.
Vivenna ruminates on different elements of the city and the culture, and this is like a page and a half-ish into the chapter. I start wondering, what are they doing? Like, okay, but what are they doing? She passes by a garden and understands why folks in a city would need to bring the nature to them, which makes sense, I think. And she wonders if it's ostentatious when the gardens themselves are public for everyone to enjoy.
Yes. I'm excited for her to be thinking these things because it's just opening her up to understand that the interpretation of her religion might not be all that it might not be the only thing that's out there. So she doesn't have to reject her God, but
it's not the only lens through which to interpret her doctrine.
Yes, exactly. It's not that she needs to reject her God. It's just that you can see the glory of this God of colors. It blows my mind that it's like God of colors, but we have to be drab.
Yeah.
But then there is the extreme of going too ostentatious. We also know that. But yeah, I'm happy to see her exploring more outside her comfort zone. Yeah.
Right. She understands why folks would choose to live in a city. Someone shouts fire, to which Vivenna notes, "Distraction 1." And people are running about, some are helping, others are not. A trunk falls on the carriage of a very important priest, which Vivenna notes as distraction 2, with many folks running up to help.
No, it's not just the thing falling off there. Freaking, what's the name? Claude goes and beats the horse and breaks its leg. Ugh. It upset me. I was like, Dorkus is going to notice that and tell me that I was upset. And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm very upset. Thank you.
Oh, no. Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Apparently, that doesn't fall on Claude. It falls on Vivenna.
Yes. They were all just doing things for Vivenna. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that conversation, I'm sure. Point being, she notes it as distraction 2, while many folks run to help or take the fallen valuables. And Vivenna leaves, thinking that somewhere nearby, Denth was raiding a shop with a group of thieves. I had a bit of a thought here. I think it might sound like a mean thought, but you tell me. This is more heist than we get in Mistborn.
Is that mean?
Is it?
Well, yeah, Mistborn's heist is a lot bigger. These are little heists for a big reason.
In Mistborn, we get one instance of Kelsier breaking into House Venture in the beginning to steal some atium. If you want to call that a heist, I'd call that more of a robbery, personally. The rest of what Kelsier kind of does happens more or less off screen. The rest of the book is pretty much building up and preparing for the revolution. I don't think we get very much heisty stuff in that first book.
Well, we do get the planning, which is the part that we love the most in the book. So
true, and he excelled at the planning.
Yeah, I'm still happy with it. I see what you mean, but I still love Mistborn.
Oh, I do too.
I
Don't
don't
get me
feel
wrong.
I wouldn't add more heist to Mistborn because
Where would you even
yeah, it would
fit it in?
take long. Yeah, in the beginning maybe if you just had some miscellaneous Vin doing some heists and things, being a crook.
Sure.
Mm.
Later, Jules and Vivenna await the return of the rest of the crew. Vivenna tells herself to be patient with Jules and characterizes Jules's breath as having been stolen. Look, telling yourself to be patient with people is not a bad quality. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Jules snaps at Vivenna when Vivenna asks, I think it was about Denth, right? When he'd return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long do you think? Could you just not speak to me?
Yeah. Vivenna then approaches Jules and puts her hand on her shoulder, surprising Jules in the process because she's drab and doesn't sense it.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I understand. They took your breath. They had no right to do something so terrible. And then she smiles and walks away. And I put the book down in cringe. It hurt to read. The hubris, the arrogance, the narcissism.
I didn't cringe. I just went, ugh. Like I was just annoyed with her.
Yeah. It's like maybe if Jules had shown some degree of contrition, if she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap, or something like that, you could get away with doing what Vivenna did, but it was so uninvited.
Yeah, it was so unsolicited. It was so unnecessary and so condescending. Like, here you go, you poor person. Here, I will bestow upon you my sympathies.
Yep, very much so.
I can see where it's coming from. Obviously, she wants the person to know that she understands, but it's just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Jules
ends up laughing in her face, which was
satisfying.
Yeah. She says her breath was given directly to the God King and that it was an honor, which is more of Vivenna being confronted with ideas that are counter to her own. Which is good. This is a good conversation. This is good stuff for her to hear. But it also invokes, well, I'll get to it in just a moment, the topic of who's right. Jules claims not to know where Denth is from. We've wondered if there's an Idris mystery going on here. I also kind of wondered if it's Cosmere related, and he has some lines later on about how you wouldn't even believe me or comprehend if I told you. So I think there's a possibility Denth could be a Cosmere traveler.
Yeah.
Vivenna questions how Jules could believe in the Hallandren gods after what was done to her, is the phrase she used.
Again, you're not getting it. Yeah, like, you're not getting it. My breath was given. And then she goes, but after what? How could you believe after what they've done to you? She's already said that it wasn't done to her. But you've now, in your whole mission to validate her, you've actually made her, would make her feel invalidated. You're telling her the whole way that she sees any of this is not valid.
Right. And I want to get through just 2 more plot points before I get to the topic I want to about this. Jules says it was a willing choice, that her parents gave her the choice. Essentially, her dad was unable to work. Her family had 5 brothers and sisters, so that's 8. 2 parents, Jules, and 5 other siblings. And her breath was enough to feed her for a year. Feed her family, rather, for a year. So we have a nice metric about how valuable a breath is. So we know they're not taken care of for life, but it is still reasonably substantial.
Wasn't there reference to a parent giving their life, their breath earlier in their lives?
I think they did. I don't recall.
Yeah. In that passage that says 1 year. It had been done earlier.
Right. He sold his breath to start a business.
Yeah.
And now we'll get to it. She claims to be a part of the God King now. And I wrote, is this propaganda? Who is right? Because in Vivenna's defense, how often do you hear stories about people who are who we know were abused, who refuse to accept that they were abused or believe that they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. But when you're believing, it's part of your religion, what then? Is it just, oh, well, okay. Like people that have been manipulated in cults, they're like, oh, no, it's my religion. And that's just the way it is. But we still judge them.
Yeah, there are religions that believe in things that I think are abhorrent practices.
Yeah. So you can't. Yeah, it's the thing is that these two religions are somewhat related to each other, and it's a complicated thing.
I feel like in part because this is a book and Sanderson loves his hard magic systems and knowing exactly how and why things work as they do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we may not get, but that there is an answer here.
Mm-hmm. Who's right about this?
Yeah, and it's harder to say.
Metaphorically, it is right. Yeah, it is right metaphorically. She's given her life up to her lifeblood or her soul.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, her consciousness is still there, so that's an interesting thing. But her joy, her life sense, everything has gone to the God King, and that's supposed to give him power. It keeps him alive. Then he is able to supposedly give his breaths away to save people, right? And she gets to be part of that. So it's all of this part of stuff, and that's an interesting or a worthy thing to believe in. I could see the appeal of believing in that, because then it's like
there's a tangible element.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just cope that they just came up with it. I think it would be something that's within the religion, and the priests have made sure. So it is, yes, it's priest propaganda, but it's long time instilled into this culture. It's not just like it just came up now.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
So Jules insists that Idrians are arrogant and accuses them of being hypocrites. And after being dressed down by Jules, Vivenna thinks there's no point in arguing and leaves. I noted that there's no sorry, not that she necessarily needs to give one, but there is no apologetic comment from Vivenna. She definitely still thinks she is right.
Yeah, the way she goes, oh, well, lots of people will just believe things. She had to rationalize what happened to her. That's it. Again, it's still just dismissing, because it's acting as if she went through the steps of rationalizing it, rather than it was her culture to begin with. It was her belief to begin with. That's the difference for me, is that it's not that it happened, it was so traumatic, and then I had to now rationalize it. That's the way that she's seeing it. Whereas this girl lived her whole life thinking this way and believing this way. There is a difference. That's not, oh, I just rationalized. Yes, the priest rationalized it and made it propagandistic and all of it. They did all of that. I'm not denying that. But for her, for this individual,
it's truth.
That was her belief. Yeah, it's truth. And it's important for her to experience that. She doesn't have to agree, and she doesn't have to change her beliefs because of it, but she needs to realize that actually you can be a bit of an asshole if you are just assuming or just asserting your belief on top of somebody else's and dismissing theirs. Like, understand them, you don't have to believe them.
It comes down to pleasantry in a way. And like on one hand, you hate fake but pleasant people because of that. But at the same time, it's like you don't need to exude an aura of being better than. I can think you're wrong, but still be pleasant with you and engage with you as an equal. And there's this idea about folks who I think try to convert others, that it's like this super unwelcome thing. And most overwhelming amount of Christians I know have never tried to convert me. And I'm confident that if I brought up the topic with them, they'd be more than happy to discuss it, but they would never force it in any way.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the let me come to you about this.
Absolutely. That's how I view it. I've never seen anybody try to convert someone and it working.
Right.
Like it is a very much,
I know
you have to
Mormons go
decide
door to
to be
door.
curious. Yeah, Mormons go door to door, Jehovah Witnesses go to door to door. One way to turn people off is to get all holier than thou.
Right. There's a fine line to walk, and Vivenna is currently on the side of aura of holier than thou.
Exactly as Jules described her, Adrian and arrogant and hypocritical.
Yeah. Fast forward, the sun sets. Vivenna is contemplating Jules's perspective on having given away her breath. Her own faith seems contradictory. By believing Jules was wrong, Vivenna is placing herself above Jules, but accepting Jules's explanation would be heretical. How can she view the Hallandren as heathen without being ostentatious? Any faith seems to become arrogant after a fashion, is her final conclusion.
Loved this. Yes, I loved this exploration of faith and all of that, because yeah, it actually is true. At some point, you do. Yes, there's pleasantries as we discussed, but at some point, you do believe something that somebody else doesn't. And yes, there's contradictions in all of this kind of thing. There's choice. When there's contradictions, it's like which of these two things am I going to go with? Am I going to sound like a heretic by accepting? Or am I going to be somewhat arrogant in my belief? She has to choose which one. Mm.
Right. Denth arrives and reports that the job went well. He explains that the man they robbed is one of very few in the city, 3 I think it was, who store large amounts of salt. And to rob his stores is to allow for meat in the city to rot when everyone runs out.
Mm-hmm.
Great. More death by 1,000 cuts stuff.
Yeah.
Vivenna asks about Jules's faith in the iridescent tones. She doesn't understand how she can have her faith, but also work for an Idrian seeking to undermine her city and religion. And Denth explains the mindset of a mercenary, which is to say, we're paid to do things, but we're not the ones doing them. It's you who do these things. We're just tools. I hard disagree. That's the only following orders justification. And look, we can compartmentalize, or I don't think that's the right word. We can divvy out blame in different degrees. If you tell me to shoot someone and I pull the trigger, you have committed the thought crime of shooting someone. And it's not but, it is and I followed through and did the deed.
Yes, there's the conspiracy charge. Conspiracy charge is, that's why we have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard disagree, Denth. Really.
That's cope. That is rationalization. That is, I just get past whatever I'm doing. It's not really me doing it. I'm just a tool. It's fine. That's just cope.
Yeah. You always have a choice, Denth.
Yeah. I don't think that has to do with the iridescent tones and all of that stuff. That's just normal mercenary stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just that she's just pointed out one moral contradiction that should make them give them pause, but they don't, because this is the way they see the world. And that's, maybe we're being ostentatious, Dorkus, but we think he's wrong.
Yes. He explains that mercenaries are good at compartmentalizing what they do and what they believe. Vivenna asks about Denth's beliefs and family. His family is gone. They believed in faiths long forgotten. He claims to have believed in something once, but refuses to get any more specific than that. The things he believed wouldn't make any sense. I already said it. I think he might be a Cosmere traveler.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Unless there's some culture out there that we don't know about.
Yeah, that they're all just too sheltered and they don't realize there are other cultures. Yeah.
Right. Vivenna calls Denth out as having some ulterior motive. His skills and actions suggest he is more than a mere mercenary. And when Vivenna mentions Vasher, Denth storms out. So yeah, she notices what we have noticed. He's got stuff going on.
She's, as much as she was so clunky and horrid with Jules, the way that she gets straight to the heart of it with Denth, I appreciate that. The way she was just like, you only show emotion when it's about Vasher. And then he does show emotion and storms off.
Right?
Yeah.
Chapter 26, Lightsong awakens happy, which is a big deal. He's got purpose.
Yes. We had him not getting out of bed a couple chapters ago. So
Yeah, and now he's waking up a full hour early.
Mm-hmm.
He dreamt of rain, storms, and a red panther, but brushes it off for the time being because he wants to go back to Mercy Star's palace. So, Red Panther, you don't think that is Vivenna in the last chapter, considering the red tube dress, do you?
It might be. And he might be the panther himself because it's his color.
True.
But yeah, it might be Vivenna. It might be.
Larimar requests that they go over artwork before heading to Mercy Stars. And I wrote in all caps, no! Surprise them! Don't give them time to prepare their lies!
That she's asleep. It's fine.
Sure. Lightsong is staring at a painting. There is violence in red. I note the Red Panther. Red's a big deal here. He feels the painting pulling him in. Waves of men point toward a woman. I wrote to myself, I'm skeptical that the paintings are what the priests say, but maybe they're exactly what they say. Which is nothing of me to say. Unprompted, Larimar calls the painting The Battle of Twilight Falls. I wanted to ask you your opinion on the choice of the word twilight.
Oh, twilight would be, it's close to the end of the day. It's the end. So that's what it just makes me feel like ending. And then it's Twilight Falls, which is what people fell in the twilight as well. Yeah, I don't have much on that. What do you have?
I thought there might be a connection with light reflecting color. Falls suggests some sort of waterfall, I guess, but doesn't have to be the case. I don't know. Oh, but ultimately, Lightsong likes the painting a lot. It's the best he's seen. Larimar doesn't respond, which causes Lightsong to think that many gods have been giving auspicious preference to war paintings, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is nerve-wracking, I think, if true.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't want to go to war. Otherwise, if it's like Blushweaver's priest, it's like, yay!
Yeah. Lightsong regrets commenting, but it feels very, very important to do so. He hopes what he does won't lead to war. He's just trying to be careful. He asks what the black sword near the woman in the painting is, and Larimar says that he doesn't see a sword. It's all just wild strokes to him. Black sword, you obviously think of Nightblood. You see woman, you look at the cover, which is a woman we presume to be Ciri, with a sword, although the sword's not black. We know that Ciri is pretty pure, so if anyone can use that sword, it would probably be her. What do you mean Scoot doesn't see anything but strokes? What are these paintings?
What are they? Yes, and who do they come from? Who? I feel like we will at some point have to find out who these paintings come from.
Yeah. Lightsong says he knew the title, but Larimar says he what?
Lightsong thought, well, no, but you knew what the painting was because you told me what battle it depicts. And he's like, no, I just knew what the artist called it because you had paused and you hadn't said anything. So I just thought I would give you the name of the painting. So there was just this thing, again, emphasizing that he doesn't know what Lightsong is seeing.
How trustworthy is Larimar? Lightsong tells them not to burn the painting, that he wants to keep it. The two banter about Lightsong's oddities. He tells Larimar about his dream, which makes Larimar look disturbed. In fact, Larimar wonders if Lightsong is joking or lying about the Red Panther.
You're just making it up? No.
They arrive at Mercy Star's palace, and Mercy Star is away with Allmother. As we're going through the shenanigans at Mercy Star's palace, my next bullet point is The guards and priests don't want to let Lightsong in, but since Mercy Star didn't explicitly forbid it, they cannot deny him. I think to myself, Lightsong needs to walk a fine line because it could be a bad precedent to let gods just start going to others' palaces, and it would not surprise me if he tries to go back at one point and Mercy Star has explicitly forbade Lightsong from showing up without her.
Yeah.
On the recommendation of the priests or something like that. Lightsong arrives in the corridor and starts searching for replaced patches, and he tells a priest he needs to speak with all the servants and guards who saw the intruder. The angry priest he was speaking with claims the matter has already been dealt with, but sends someone to fetch the people because he has to. Lightsong is a god to them, even if not their god. Lightsong finds the trap door, but he ignores it because of an instinct. He feels he is pulling from deep within himself as he does so, and the priests subtly but noticeably relax as Lightsong passes over the passageway. So, good info, Lightsong. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying Lightsong's transformation. Like, he's witty as he does these things, so he's still doing the flippant remarks and things, but he's more of a character now with this new instinct driving him. This is my favorite chapter.
Yeah, I love the detective element of it, and there's more forward momentum with his banter throughout it all.
Yeah, exactly. It's not irritating anymore. That's what I like.
Lightsong addresses the men who were present that evening. He sends the two initial guards off into the distance out of earshot. From this, you know, okay, good. He's doing this so that they won't be able to speak to each other, and he'll be able to gather out which are lies and which are not.
Mm-hmm. Very clever. Good. And he's just doing this.
Yeah. Although, frankly, they've probably already been able to get their story straight. Their crooked story.
Yeah, but you never know. It's still better. It's still better to do that anyway. Yeah.
Sure. Lightsong addresses the four who claim to have been in the hallway in addition to the man who was killed. And this is where I got to my bit of confusion with regard to the detective storyline. It sounded to me the priests were pretending that there were four, not including the dead man.
Mm-hmm.
And my first read through of this, I could have sworn that there was this imaginary fourth person who pretended to be knocked out in the passageway with Vasher and the other four. Yeah. And
because you were like, who is the guy that got killed? So you thought the guy that got killed was the one that was just passed out.
And then I guess it also doesn't help that there is the added person in this scene who's describing what he saw from far away. So I had just...
The count of people just goes up.
Yeah. So it was a weird experience that I don't think anyone else will have for me when I was rereading the chapter. Because I'm like, wasn't there this whole mystery where the priests were lying and surely Lightsong could figure it out, that they added a person, but I guess none of that's there. Oh, well.
That's definitely not there for me because I was like, of course somebody was killed. Like, that wasn't a reveal for me at all.
Anyway, Lightsong sends the three, right? It's the three. He sends three of them off out of earshot and then addresses the final priest who claims to have seen the intruder flee, and then that makes it the fourth. So 2 and 3 and 4. Lightsong sends that man out of earshot.
And you request the squirrel.
Yes, and then he requests that the angry priest, presumably the guy left in charge while Mercy Star is away, go fetch the lifeless squirrel. And I love it because... obviously, this guy is a control freak who wants to try and control what lies Lightsong is given, I think.
Yeah, but also just his dignity is is highly insulted by the fact that he has to go and get this bloody squirrel.
Yes. Lightsong takes Scoot with him to investigate the priests and guards. I'm thinking, don't trust Scoot. I think you can trust Scoot, but don't trust
I love
Scoot.
Scoot.
Me too.
No,
he's great. I hope
love
he's
him.
not involved in whatever the other
I'm
priests
just like,
are.
no, bring Watson along. It's Watson. Stop it,
Yeah.
Dorkus.
The first two relay the event and person accurately. I think more or less.
And by accurately, you mean as we saw it when we were in the POV. Yeah.
Correct. And they don't describe the guy's sword, Vasher's sword, as a dueling blade. And it was described earlier as a dueling blade. Not Vasher's sword, but the wound was done.
Yes.
Dueling blade. So that's an important, interesting transfer of information.
Yeah.
Lightsong moves on to the next group. They describe the intruder accurately, more or less. Lowlin claims to have stayed back to help Taff, but Lightsong catches the lie. It wasn't to help, it was for the sword. They describe how the man threw the sword, but didn't draw it. And when the other two men returned, they found Lowlin on the ground and Taff stabbed. They didn't actually see him die. Important.
Yes.
Lightsong makes the man who took the sword unwrap the wounded hand, and we discover that the hand is completely gray, drained of all color. That's big.
Yeah. But he's the one that handled what's the name? The
sword, Nightblood.
Yeah, Nightblood, yeah.
Yeah, so how does this contrast with black smoldering wounds versus the sword draining color?
But now also the thing that we get there is that the sword draining color, that shouldn't be possible.
Yes, that as well.
In terms of biochroma and awakening, you can't use color in people.
Yeah.
But this thing could. Obviously, he doesn't know it's the sword, but it makes sense. He could make the jump from it was the sword because it's the guy's hand.
Yeah. Is his breath weaker now? Is it damaged?
I wonder. So with what actually happened, just remind me, okay? Because this is the girl that thought that someone was dead anyway. So there was the attack. He basically strangled the guy out, the fallen rope guy or whatever. Okay, the rope. Okay, he strangled him, made him pass out. Okay, but then the other three come along, and the swords. Well, they get scared off. Two get scared off, and the one picks up the sword. Then what happens in terms of him being disposed of? For Vasher. How did that happen? Was he also knocked out?
Knocked out. I believe Vasher strangled,
with the hand?
Choked, knocked out the one guy. Two ran off. And then the guy with the sword picked up the sword. It started to do whatever the sword does. And then Vasher came up and knocked him out.
Okay.
Then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then you got the sword back, and then you ran down the trapdoor.
Correct, I believe.
Before the others came back, yeah.
Yep. The man admits that he's not the best of men, but swears not to have known anything about the intruder or the sword, and specifically says the black sword. And I notice that Lightsong doesn't note the black sword, or at least not yet.
Not yet, yeah. And obviously this gives us confirmation that something about the person is tempted by Nightblood.
Yes.
Because he says he's a gambler and he's this. And his friends are actually, they seem quite shocked about it.
Yeah.
A cheater and a brothel enjoyer.
Yeah. So if something about the sword attracts corruptible men, of course Vasher's going to see corruption in everyone. Because I'm sure it draws those people to him. Larimar doesn't see why Lightsong of all people should be investigating this. And I'm wondering if this is stock foil dynamic with, Watson playing the straight man type thing, or if this is priestly shenanigans. I'll say it, that's going to be the name of this episode, Priestly Shenanigans, because I say it 1,000 times. Lightsong moves on to the final person, and he wonders if this person was chosen to tell him lies, which is ironic because it sounds like everything he says is reasonably true. The man points to a place on the opposite side of the palace where he was. He saw the doorway with the 2 guards. He heard a noise, then looked. Now, I had interpreted that noise heard to be the scuffle if Vasher hadn't yet dealt with the guards. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. There were 2 scuffles really. They didn't know what was happening the first round, and then the second there was a scuffle. So he was further away, and that's the thing. He was further away when the supposed noise happened.
Right, because we know Lightsong's later supposition that there was another intruder. We'll get to that discussion later, but timeline-wise, if the scuffle that the man heard was the second scuffle, then then the person he sees would logically be someone other than Vasher.
Yeah, and he also wouldn't hear the second scuffle. That's the thing, because that second scuffle is all the way on the other side, but he assumed it was the second scuffle that he heard. That's all. Yeah,
that's true. The man says he saw the 2 bodies and a shadowy figure moving between them. It took several minutes to get to them. Several minutes. He wore dark clothing and was nondescript. So helpful.
Yeah, thanks. But witnesses, that's how they are.
Yes. Larimar thinks this is all important, particularly the black sword, which he reminds Lightsong was seen in the painting. And I'm so glad Larimar did that. Good man.
Yeah. And it is, hey, look, you see, you are prophesying.
Yeah.
Prophesying. Yeah. Because that was why he did it.
Yeah, although it's interesting because Larimar thinks this makes it even more important that Lightsong not be involved, lest he interfere with the prophecy. But I hear that and I think, no, that means he needs to become involved.
Yes.
It's his prophecy.
There's something, isn't it, that he's got to find his purpose, the unfinished business or the whatever that he's supposed to come in. So, yeah, he's supposed to interfere with prophecies, especially when they're right in front of him like that.
Precisely.
So, yeah, not that Lightsong was going to listen to him anyway.
Yeah. Lightsong concludes that there were 2 intruders. The second intruder committed the murder so as to prevent witnesses. To which I ask myself, who is following Vasher? Obviously not Denth and the crew.
No. Is it the man that's making the paintings? But then why?
Very curious. Is Vasher in danger? Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Safe to assume.
Yeah. He is doing dangerous work. He reveals to Larimar that he found a trapdoor. Don't do that. I'm also thinking you should maybe inspect your own palace for trapdoors now.
Yes, exactly. Yes, do that. But the way that he noticed that we haven't spoken about the fact that he how he, or maybe I just ADHD'd out, but how he noticed the trapdoor. The trapdoor it looked out of place, but it wasn't as new as everything else. It was just newer than
and
what it was
subtle.
Near. Yes, and very subtle. And the way that he figured out whether the priests knew about this trapdoor was he went close to it, saw it, and then picked up like a fiber or something and acted as if that was what he was looking at. And the priest relaxes. And that's, priestly shenanigans. Because so he knows, like, just all of that just made Lightsong so enjoyable, just to follow his mind around. It was so great.
It's great to see talented people be talented.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsong wonders how he knows all these things. He realizes he was someone useful, and he has these instincts for a reason. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think that passage is where we get the whole he knows the case terminology.
Mm-hmm.
The chapter ends with him thinking about the case and instructing that the security phrase on the lifeless squirrel be broken.
Yeah. the case. And he realizes,
Yep.
why would I call it a case?
Yeah. And finally, that brings us to chapter 27.
Mm-hmm.
Ciri realized that something happened to the previous God Kings and may happen to both Susebron and herself. Good?
Yes. Very good. We got Ciri investigating too. It would be great if they were just both investigating together.
Yes. This is such a great crossover chapter. I'm so happy we have it.
Mm-hmm.
She knows the priests fear something will happen and are eager for an heir, but they didn't seem to care for 50 years. They waited 20 for an Idrian bride. The problem must not be urgent, even though the priests act as if it is. I wrote to myself, is it urgent? Is it magical? Is it purely political? Susebron seems malleable enough to not be a threat to them. Is there a judgment day coming? Or is this all about a prophecy from a previous return? Those are all things that ran through my mind.
They're all very, very valid. Because it does seem weird that it would just be a political thing. That it wouldn't be, because he's so malleable. Is it because of the war? Is that it? Because would it be the war? They're looking for war to happen. That hasn't happened in a long time. Maybe that's part of it. But like you said, Susebron is very malleable. So why do we need to? What does killing him do, essentially? What do we need in replacing him? What do we need from the God King for that?
Yeah. Look, I can totally see there having been a prophecy that dictates that Susebron will die in this war. Although that doesn't quite make sense because the priests are very much pushing for war.
Yeah.
Do you think, so prediction time, do you think Susebron will die in this book?
I hope not, but I think it's possible. I'm 50-50 on it.
I think it's possible as well, yeah. I think 50-50 is about right for where I'm at right now with it as well. Interesting. Bluefingers has been avoiding Ciri, running away whenever they see each other or arriving late, only after Ciri has given up. That was funny, sad but funny.
Yeah, just funny to imagine.
One of the serving women is like, "Oh, he must not have seen you."
He would never. It's very dishonorable for him to be ignoring or avoiding the queen. That's just not right. So definitely he hadn't seen her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ciri's not even allowed to read. The priests will bring in readers and won't let her actually harm her eyes by letting her read them herself.
So she gets her own audiobook, but just edited or misinformation,
Yeah, abridged. Ciri contemplates the problem of every bit of information fed to her being filtered through the priests. She realizes there's another source of information, and she goes to the arena where the court assembly met. Yes. Ciri compares the sports and physical games in the arena to those in Idris. These ones are, as expected, much more ostentatious in nature. She appreciates many of the men who wear only loincloths, not just for their attire, but for their physical prowess as well.
And she's blushing about it.
Yeah. But she's not just thirsty. It's also like, man, the dedication to build that much muscle mass must be something.
Yeah, because in Idris, they don't do that sort of competition thing because, competing is very bad. That means you would be above each other or below each other. So it happens spontaneously.
Yeah.
They can't plan races. It just happens.
For funsies. She seeks out Lightsong, and many watch her as she passes by. She notes that Idris is much better about citizens having access to their leaders, and she notes the perils of self-indulgence. So I do like that she still understands what it is about her culture that is in some ways more preferable.
Yeah, she's so much more open to the other cultures, and she likes some things from her culture, and she likes from others. She's definitely not experiencing things the same way that her sister is. She's a lot more open to everything.
She's much more balanced. I think.
Mm-hmm. In her view, yeah. She's not like, it's all wrong, it's all right. She is way more balanced.
The two exchange pleasantries. Ciri asks for help, but Lightsong claims to be useless, which is to be expected.
Yeah, more irritating. And that gets me irritated at that point. So you see, it's just like, because I want him to stop his crap and listen. And also you're in Ciri's POV and Ciri's like, oh, what? And then she starts jumping on the bandwagon and actually also getting witty with him, which is good.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable when she sort of unlocks the code to make him more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Ciri feels frustrated when Larimar appears disapproving of Ciri. That first time, that's her interpretation, and it's right off the back of Lightsong claiming to be useless. So we know more or less that that's more about Lightsong, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Upset, Ciri insults Lightsong with a long-winded, pithy remark suggesting that he is useless and should just not speak.
And we love it.
Yeah, she does it with a big smile on her face, because she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Lightsong laughs a genuine laugh. The two agree to answer each other's questions as best they can, with neither being sure they can be of much use to the other.
Mm-hmm.
A cute little crossing of the ways there, I think.
Yeah.
When Ciri says she might not be of much help, Lightsong tells her to make something up then, and we get the line, unknowing ignorance is preferable to informed stupidity. I like that line. It's a head scratcher, sort of, but it's fun.
It's a very commonly highlighted phrase in the Kindle. It's got a double. Yeah, so you're among a lot of readers that like that line.
Interesting. Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how Kindles work? You can see how many other people highlight stuff?
You can turn it off, I think, but if a certain number of people have highlighted it, it comes up as frequently highlighted. That's all it says.
That makes me think of upvotes in Dark Souls messages to each other.
There you go. Yeah. It's an updoot.
Ciri asks what happened to the previous God Kings. Lightsong makes a joke, but Larimar claims they died by giving away their breath. One cured Dystrentia 50 years prior. That 50 years seems important, I think. But
yes, it seems like there's a cycle involved here.
Yes, a timeline issue.
Mm.
Lightsong makes a joke about giving his breath to cure a bowel movement. Larimar looks apologetically at Ciri, and she realizes his previous look was directed at Lightsong, not her. Nice.
And that helps her, I think. It helps her in her confidence going forward in this conversation.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, okay, I can get help. So she smiles back at Scoot.
Yeah, I like him. He answers her questions, and Ciri thinks maybe not all priests are as bad as Trelades, which is probably the case.
But you're on the don't trust Scoot train, so
look, I'm just worried.
He's still better in manner.
Yeah, look, I think when push comes to shove, Scoot will make good choices. When push comes to shove, I think Trelades will make self-serving choices. That's the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Larimar confirms that when the previous God King died, a child had been born only weeks prior. The God King before that died a month after his second child was born, which Ciri excellently concludes made the first child a daughter.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm like, these two together investigating stuff would be great. Just the way that they think.
So great. With Scoot in the distance, slightly behind, exacerbated by the exuberance of the other two bantering with each other.
Yeah, just like, I'll give you the actual answer. Yeah.
Ciri wonders what it is about having an heir that leads to the God King's death. She thinks the stories about curing bowel movements sound like propaganda. So it was very convincing in the prose, this idea that the God King using their breath to save many is just a complete fabrication, yeah?
Yeah, very much so. And we know it would be, because for him to get rid of his own breath, he would need to be able to speak.
Yes.
Hmm.
Bluefingers recommends bringing in a storyteller from the city, and Ciri asks Lightsong to do it for her.
Clever girl.
Clever girl, yes, so as to avoid her own servants and priests filtering who gets in. But I'm also thinking, well, she's doing this in view of her own servants, and
She also thought of that, but
she didn't have much of a choice.
Well. Yeah.
But that's also undercut by the fact that the two of them have a private word a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ciri starts to leave, but Lightsong reminds her she promised to answer his questions.
Yeah, and it's so nice that she sits right back down. She's like, oh, yes. And she sits back down. It's so cute.
Yeah. We've also long since passed the moment, but when Ciri says, "Did I do something wrong?" it was a very cute moment.
Mm-hmm.
Lightsong asks if she knew any city guards back home, and if they were inquisitive. He asks if there were murders in the village. There were a few. He asks if they were investigated without having to be asked to be investigated. Yes. Ciri doesn't know how. She estimates that it was that they asked questions, spoke to witnesses, looked for clues. There's an exchange where Lightsong intimates that a murderer might be exiled to another country. And the way the prose plays out, it's a bit like he's suggesting that that's perhaps why Ciri was sent, but that's not really what he's getting at.
Yeah, Ciri takes it that way.
Yeah. But I think what Lightsong is getting at after this is that perhaps a murderer from Idris might have come here to do his crime. But maybe not.
Or he's wondering about himself being put here. And he was actually a murderer, not an investigator, a murderer.
Oh, that's an interesting concern.
Yeah.
But then how could he have... See, I was thinking he was a cop or a private eye who saved someone and died saving someone.
Yeah, that's what I think the truth is. But he might be worried about believing that, because it would be like, no, that would mean I'm useful. No, I want to be useless and I want to be horrible. So, actually, I came here and I did something brave, sure, but I was a murderer. That was just something that crossed my mind. But it makes sense that an exile could be like he's thinking of would an Idrian go and commit murder here on this side. Yeah,
exactly. But I like your idea tremendously. Lightsong sends away the priests and servants for a moment alone, and he warns her that she's playing a dangerous game. We get the exchange. I don't want to play politics. If you don't, it'll play you, I'm afraid. I wrote ironic after staying in bed for a week. Look who's making this comment.
Yeah, well, he knows it. He knows it plays him if he doesn't play it. He knows that inaction is even part of the game. So he would be the person that says that.
True.
He tried not to play it, but it played him.
True. This is also the most serious we get Lightsong in the entire book, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
He advises Ciri to play up her honesty and innocence to fit in better in the court and seem like less of a threat. And I write, so Lightsong has been playing up his uselessness? Because in his POVs, he seems pretty genuine in his depression, for lack of a more all-encompassing term.
Maybe he's in denial. He wants to just be depressed.
Yeah.
But actually, underneath it all, that's what he was trying to cultivate.
Yeah. Or he's just lying to himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it is good advice that he gives her.
To develop a persona.
Yeah, to upplay traits you already have. And to be seen and known and average. Very good.
Mm-hmm. Which Ciri takes as, we're very familiar with average over in Idris. Because, you're only allowed to be average.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're ostentatious.
Yes. Because she even says it sounds like an Idrian philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great cut scene in Game of Thrones between Tywin and the Grand Maester The Grand Maester, I'm blanking on his name right now, says something like, all the flowers in the garden, all growing, trying to be the tallest. I simply wish to remain in the garden. Seems poignant here.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Ciri calls Lightsong a good man. He refers to the palace as a beautiful prison, and I think that they can both connect over that.
Yeah, they both are very much cooped up.
Yeah, I feel like Blushweaver would roll her eyes at that comment, but Ciri's like, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Ciri claims his advice sounds like an Idrian philosophy. Idrian and Hallandren are the same. They just do things in opposite ways, is an idea that is emphasized.
He's brought up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of do things in counter to each other, therefore they are similar in that these are the hills that they want to die on. They have the same sort of hills, just different sides of the hill.
Yeah. Duality is such a big thing in Sanderson. Idrian, Hallandren, ruin, preservation, push, pull. Interesting.
Sidene, Sidar.
Sidene, Sidar. Yep. Finally, Lightsong warns her not to rely on him. He's emphatic. Do not rely on him or come to him if she is in danger because he will fail her.
Ugh.
So obviously the opposite of that is going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, just with this self-deprecation there, it's just, I'm gonna let you down because he probably in his previous life did let someone down. And well, that's just what happens in life. You do let people down. Sorry. It's self-indulgent at this point. I'm like, stop it now.
Very much so. Excellent segment. I'm thrilled. I'm enjoying the story tremendously. Lots of feels, some nitpicks, but really enjoyable story. Great
characters, great mystery, good times.
Anything else to say, Kitty?
Like the video.
If you like, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kitty if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
Subscribe to this channel because you know it's great.
It would be greatly appreciated. Also, we have a Discord, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye.